So welcome everybody. Lovely to see you all. You won't be surprised to hear that I haven't got anything new to say. Isn't it strange how you can tune in to listen to the same old shit over and over and not tire of it? Just in the way that you can speak about it and not tire of speaking about it. And I don't know, I think that's because it's never old. This doesn't get old. There is no old, there's no aging. It's, in the words of the beautiful sailor Bob, I don't think I've ever quoted him before. If you know Bob Adamson, the Australian guy, who I had a crush on for a while, like you do, he always referred to this as ever fresh, which is lovely. Ever fresh. Always new. You know how you can be with an old person and feel the childlike quality of some very old people. There's one or two amongst us this evening. And likewise, you can be with a child and you can get a sense of what you might call old soul, and the oldness of a child. But this is always new. Doesn't continue. No aging. Aging is always seeming. Just in memory of what was. So as this is always new, you can't know it. How would you know something that's completely brand new? The illusion is that you can get to know it, that it becomes familiar, that it becomes known. And some of you will be surprised, many of you won't, that I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. The more I talk about this, it doesn't get more known. It doesn't get less known, it's just just the attempts, the need, the desire, the belief, the conviction that I could know what's going on doesn't appear. It just doesn't turn up anymore. I don't have any sense that I could know what's going on. And this is complete nonsense. And yet what's going on is all that's known. There's nothing else that could be known. But you won't know it. It can't be known. This knowing without any knowing. And I always wanted to be certain. I didn't want scraps of knowledge. I didn't want bits of the picture. I didn't want parts of the puzzle. I wanted the whole puzzle, the whole complete view. To know it all. You won't be surprised to know that I have had that said about me, that I am a know-it-all. But there is no knowing it all. There is just all. And all of it. Wow, that sun's bright. Look at that. So if the one that needs to know, I don't know what happens to him or her. It may seem like giving up, resignation. Redundancy. Certainly the sense of being out of a job. If your job's been finding out. And then there's finding out that there's nothing to find out. Finding that there's nothing to find. Which is no kind of finding. Strangely, no resting place. This isn't a resting place. This isn't a landing place. And yes, yet this is completely at rest. You may have already had the sense of you never went anywhere. You never moved. There really is no movement. And then there's all the seeming movement. And this happening is completely free. I mean that in more than one sense of the word free. There's no charge. You haven't earned it. You can't earn this. It's utterly free. So it can feel like a gift. The gift of nothing, but everything. The absolute gift, simply because there's nothing else. And it's not a gift to you. You don't get the gift. There is just the gift. And that may well feel like love, because you don't get to choose the gift. The gift appears exactly as it is. You might have noticed already you don't get what you ask for, or what you pray for, or what you most desire. Just reminds me of my grandmother just saying to me as a child, well, you'll get what you're given. Yeah, but that's not what I asked for Christmas, Nan. I asked for a chopper bicycle. and you got me, well, it looks like a girl's bike. That's not the bike I wanted. No, you don't get what you want. And strangely, not getting what you want feels like love. So I place all the conditions on what love would look like, as though I know what love is. Well, that conditional love is extremely painful, because love appears exactly as it does, as it is, always, with no exclusion. So it's not a lovely love, an unconditional love. Not the love you asked for. The love that is and isn't. But if you'd like to share anything or ask a question, then just put your hand up or write your question in the chat. If no one's got a question, I'll just plug that I'm in Hampstead in 2 weeks on Saturday. On the 12th of August, I'm in London. If you fancy a trip to London. All the details are on the website.
We can't hear you, Tim.
I think you're breaking up your audio, Tim. Not sure why. Try again. No, still breaking up.
How's that now?
That's all right. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. See how it goes.
See how it goes. Okay. I will say one thing about the Black Mountain. I'm going to have that as a, if you can't make it, but you'd like to join part of it or all of it, then you can do that via Zoom. Just email me if you'd like the Zoom link for that.
I think I missed the bit about the Black. Did you say Black Mountain? I missed the bit about that. What is that?
The bit about Black Mountain?
Yeah.
So the retreat is now not. It's not actually in Asheville town in the city. It's in a little. It's up in the hills a little bit in a in a suburb called Black Mountain.
Ah, I see.
And there's a retreat center there, log cabins.
Okay.
Looks lovely. Sort of place I'd go to anyway, regardless of doing a talk or anything. It looks beautiful. And if you really want to treat yourself, then you can book a log cabin there. I think there's 7 or 8 cabins. So if the sound was off when I was saying it, if you would like to be the details of being part of the Zoom so that you could attend live, then just email me. clisstim@gmail.com. Don't even know my email. Cliff. Hi, Cliff.
Hey, Tim.
Hi.
Curious about something. This kind of came up in a discussion a day or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always a freshness to this message. And for me, it's a revitalization. It's a deepening of it. It just nutriment for the whatever this is, this appreciation of this present moment. And the discussion was about we're reading a text from Ati Yoga and things like this, and it talks about the pristine consciousness and all of this stuff, very poetic. And the thought was that this makes absolutely no sense to someone that hasn't had some sort of shift, experience, change, and something or other, awakening kind of experience. I don't know whatever you want to call it, but I think you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
So the point was, I was saying, for someone that never had that, do you need to have that to get this? Or is just the talking and this verbalization just a waste of time for somebody that never got it? Because the message is basically, I mean, to me, this is it, right here, right now. Everything that you're looking for, everything that you could possibly find, there's nothing other than this. This is kind of the way it is. And just, it's a miracle. It's an awe-inspiring place to be. It's just, this is incredible. But prior to whatever, or when I remember back, I don't know when whatever was, but remembering back to I was in my 20s or something like that, this right here was pretty shitty. It was uncomfortable. It was stressful. It was aggravating. It was constantly reactive and angry. And it was a dark and boring place to be. The opposite is true now. So is there value to this for someone that hasn't somehow accidentally stumbled upon whatever this is, that the gateless gate opens up for a moment and you go, or do we all have that and we just don't notice it? So I'm just curious what your thoughts might be on it, if any.
Well, the most wonderful news, Cliff, is that no one's got this. Isn't that the most unconditional love? No one could possibly, there is no one who has more or less of what we're speaking of. So in answer to your question, everything, every experience is utterly irrelevant. And the irrelevance is the love. Nothing is more relevant. So, you just said how your life was stressful and full of anxiety, and it was dark and it was unpleasant. That's no less this than feeling blissed out and in ecstasy. One is simply much more pleasant than the other, as experience goes. But we're not talking about, well, I'm not. There are plenty of speakers who are. I'm not talking about this as a state as a way of being. There is, I could just quite happily say there's just being, and being appears just as it appears. So however it feels, that's not less or more of what we're speaking about. There can't be less or more. This is the entirety, Cliff. So, you know, just because your personal experience is seemingly better than the memory of how it was, the memory of how it was never was. The memory appears brand new and fresh as part of your, what you're calling now your lovely experience.
Mm-hmm.
And all you're doing, all that happens is you're comparing that with this. And that's all that is all we have, Cliff. It's not just you doing that. And I'm not saying it, there's anything wrong with that. It's inevitable. We don't have anything to say without comparing that to this.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to be said. There's nothing to be said about this. You can say whatever you, and then when there's nothing to be said that could be true or accurate or closer to reality, to the absolute, to how it really is, that's the complete freedom. That's what I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of the impossibility of speaking about this. Now, you can't get anything more stupid than that, but it's wonderfully stupid. It's totally free. And the problem everyone has is they think some human beings have a handle on this. Shit, do they? It's bullshit. But I mean, people will buy that bullshit forever. I don't doubt. They always have, they always will. Because every self always wants to know, not just scraps of truth, the truth, the absolute truth, the truth to end all truths, the arrogance and hubris of self, right there. And it's wonderful to be able to, when there's a conviction that this is unknowable, which for some reason there is, don't ask me how, I have no idea, but there is a conviction that this is unknowable, and yet all that could be known, that's kind of the end of it. That's the end of seeking right there. So if you can't know what you're looking for, you're not looking for it. And the end of seeking, there isn't a me, there isn't a self. The end of seeking is the end of the, what we would call, what I would call, I wanted to know. So there is an incredible lightness, a lightness of being that there isn't when there's the weight of expectation, the weight of, I have to get there, I have to get out of this, the weight of waiting. I'm waiting until it happens. So when you talk about shift, and when you talk about, yeah, there are stories, I can tell stories of shift, I can tell stories of change. But change, shift, transformation, all storytelling. There has to be past, present, and future for any of those things. And there has to be past, present, and future for all storytelling. And so we can still tell stories, but you might not believe them to be real. And there in that, the stories are liberated. You can listen to everyone's story, because no one's story is more real than anyone else's. No one's is more accurate. No one's is closer to the truth. And then there is, you could call that unconditional love as well. You know that, you listen to a story and you go, well, what a foolish idiot. Well, the foolish idiot is no further away than the great wise sage. Isn't that wonderful?
Razia has a hand up.
Razia. just better just close that blind. It's just blinding me.
Not sure whether you know you're muted, Razia.
Sorry. Forgive. I don't know what happened really.
Mm.
But I was listening to
Tim's just gone to close the blind. Just a sec, Razia. I think
Okay.
he's just a bit bright. Oh, well, did he get cut off? I think he might have got cut off. He'll be back in a sec. Let me just give him a buzz.
Okay.
Welcome back.
No idea.
Mm.
You?
Yeah, so working. I think your connection's a little bit slow, but it's all right.
So I just think I've got really poor internet connection for some reason today.
Okay, Razia.
Okay. Thank you, Darren.
Don't take it
No,
personally.
listening to
Don't
what
take it
Cliff said.
personally, Razia, that I just disappeared as soon as you wanted to start speaking.
Things like that happen, you know, it's all electromagnetic, whatever, I don't know. Yeah, so I was listening to what Cliff was saying. And it's all of us tend to have some sort of experience, you know, like we call it the shift or whatever. And kind of like it's like a turning point in this story that we are experiencing. And some of us now, we have that shift or whatever it is, and we have this big, maybe a mystical experience or something like that. And for the rest of our lives now, we're looking back and saying, oh, why can't I have that kind of an experience again, you know, or this or whatever. But like with me, I never really wanted to experience that I had gone through the first time. I never wanted to, I don't know. There was no thought of me having this kind of experience. And then,
is this
like,
are you kind of replying to what Cliff was asking about, you know, a shift or an experience that?
Yeah. And okay, my first experience was, well, like I was sitting next to this lady in school and I was talking to her, and then she had a fight with the principal. And then the principal told me to talk to her because she was like swearing and stuff like that. And then I was just telling her, all I said to her was, you must speak sweetly and lovingly to people.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly I felt like the top of my head like opened up, you know? And
strangely, I do know, yeah. I mean, you're not going to say that to most people and they go, yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, and then I could feel like this rain of vibrations, you know? And I was stunned, like, what is happening to me? So I got up and I started walking around to see if it would follow me, and it was following me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excitement now. And then the next thought was, hey, let me go and tell the teachers in the staff room what had happened to me. And I was on my way there, and I said, I don't know, there was like this voice was saying, no, you're not ready to share this with others. And then anyway, it was like suddenly I just felt so strange, so different, like something was different now. And I went home and I was shivering and cold, icy cold. I went home, I was lying face down on the settee. And as I was lying there, I could feel like the whole of me was out of me, you know? I was out of, like I could see everything, feel everything, but be there, like, you know, with my eyes closed. And icy cold. So finally, I couldn't take this cold anymore. I got into the blanket, covered myself, and no matter how much of blankets are put on me, that icy coldness didn't go, like, you know. And then finally, I fell asleep. And when I got up the next morning, I went outside. I was busy with my kids now, getting them into the car, because they all came to the same school as I was going to. And as I got them into the car, once again, I heard a voice. I mean, really, I don't normally hear voices, right? But, and then it was like telling me, look at your world. And I looked up and I saw this tree, and it was looking so beautiful. And then I looked at just a single leaf, and the leaf was resonating, you know, it had no edges, it was edgeless. Like. And then I went to school, and then it was like the whole time I was like walking in the wind, like, you know. It was the most unreal experience I have ever had. It was just simply, I just couldn't believe it. And it lasted for quite a while, that wind started walking in the wind. And then now I started to want to find out about this, right? So I asked this one man about it. And he said to me, like, he also had the experience, but he didn't want to talk about it. So basically, I didn't know what had happened to me, but I felt great. And then after that, it was like, I started going from satsang to group, art of living, sahaja yoga.
Were you trying to find out what that experience was, you know, from someone you might know?
Yes, but no one really had that experience or what it was. So, but then I noticed that people like kind of liked me, you know, and I was found like people were coming into my house, and especially all these people who knew about Kundalini and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. And
then I'll get all these people talking to me, wanting me to join their groups. I went on things like that. Then I used to talk in school a lot. And then I noticed, like, when I used to talk in school, like, people would like me talking to them, you know? And the teachers would request, like, I used to do this program with the teachers, you know, teaching them how to teach. It was outcomes-based education. And then they'll request that I must come back now, you know, and do it again with them and stuff like that. Yeah, so, and technically, I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't know. I mean, I knew like something about me was making them want this, right? But with the teachers, it was like they would laugh a lot. And then I noticed the children in my school now wanted me to do the assembly and stuff. And then I'll do the assembly, and then it'd be absolutely quiet. And when I would go into the class, I'd say, man, let's do meditation, you know, and put their hands out now. And then I'll do like a guided meditation with them. And then gradually I started joining like Art of Living and going to Sai groups and this and that, trying to learn this, reading. But I mean, I never like had Google. I mean, if I had Google, I would have known all the answers, right? No, I didn't have Google. So, And the funny thing is, all I had to do was go and read now what had happened to me. And I couldn't find a single book. And then gradually I started to get tired of. I'm not tired, like more disillusioned with the fact that everyone was talking about love. This is love, this is love. But I couldn't see the love, you know? They're
No.
fighting with each other.
There's a reason
Yeah,
you can't see it's love, because it's not love, Razia.
Yeah.
There, well, I'm talking about love. There is nothing called love.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know, because I didn't know. I didn't know what is happening. I tended to look for unconditional love, like you were talking about.
Yeah. But the thing is about the unconditional love, because unconditional, I could just say unconditional. Really, that would be better, because you put the word love in and go, well, that doesn't feel like love. No, all feelings are love. It's unconditional love. So there isn't anything that's not love. Well, of course, if there is nothing that's not love, then there is no love.
Yes.
There's only love.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't see that at that particular stage in my life. And it was like looking out there, and then I couldn't forgive that. I couldn't forgive that people couldn't love each other. So, yeah, so I got kicked out of it. Then I went into kind of like what people call the dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
And mixed in the dream. This is the drama there now. And my whole life became a drama.
It's funny they call it the dark night of the soul, don't you think, rather than the dark night of the self?
Yeah, I don't know. Because that's what
well, you know, dark night of the soul, as opposed to I'm totally fucked, which is how it feels.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. I mean, you don't have to believe in the soul for a dark night to occur. A dark night that might seem to last for a very long time.
Yeah, it lasted for years. It was like over 10 years. And then
yeah, that's more than a dark night, isn't it, Razia? 10 years.
It was like, it was a continuous moment. You know, like Michael says, one continuous moment of darkness.
I mean, I'm not belittling the feeling of despair that is often referred to as the dark night of the soul. No, if self feels existentially threatened, if self gets a glimpse of his own emptiness, then you know, self will do anything. I mean, anything to survive. And the most potent weapon that self has is existential fear. And self will have no qualms about using that, you know, that weapon of mass destruction, well, of mass continuation, just so that I stay alive. Because when I'm terrified, I feel very real. Fear is so effective.
Throughout that, there was fear. There was lots of fear because I was afraid of ghosts. You know, the fear kept me indoors. I couldn't even go outside because I was so scared, you know, of ghosts, of all things. And now I look back and I say, how could I have been so afraid of this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was like just part of this, like you're getting into the story now, and everyone's story became my story. And the worst things that could happen were happening now because I was out of this protection or whatever. So finally, I didn't know what to do. Everything was going wrong. Then my son phoned was one day and he said to me, Mom, I lost all my stuff, you know? And I said, okay, I'm coming down. And on the way down, I did all the clearing stuff and I wanted to be in good shape when I get there, like, you know, so I'll be like vibing or resonating. And funnily enough, it all worked out. I went down there and then I told him, I know where your stuff is, Shelby. I know where the robbers left it. I mean, the people who stole your stuff, I know where they left it. And they didn't want to believe me, you know. So finally, the policeman said, no, listen to your mother. Let's go and see. So we went and we looked and we found all the stuff, wherever it was, where I pointed it out, it was all there. And I'm shocked now. How do I know this? Then there was this one person with my son now who had also been robbed. And he was like in tears because it wasn't his stuff. And like he had hired it from someone. So he said to me, but where's my stuff now? And now you must know, earlier on, they had looked all over in the bushes, right near the thing, and there was nothing there. So when he asked me, where's my stuff? I felt sorry for him. So I said, no, when we go back, it'll be right nearby. And it's all heavy stuff, so they couldn't take it away, you know? And I was like so sure of this. And when we went back, it was all there. And then I told my children, all were shocked. I said, Mommy is like a magician, you know? You know, stuff. Like I was like some sort of a super mom now. So my daughter said, why don't you join Facebook? So I said, okay. I joined Facebook and I got into this group where this person was doing all stuff that this woman didn't really like. So I say, I'm not going to be part of this now, you know?
Okay.
Again, now getting into a group where the people are fighting with each other. So that was when I was reading Nancy's poem. And I was reading her poem and it was like transcendental, like, you know? Like someone who had is not the body anymore, like, you know, just pure whatever. I'm reading it and saying, hey, this woman has what is no longer this body mind thing. And then I met Michael there. And you know, Michael with all his stories, he makes you so confused.
Can I just jump in for a second, Razia? There are a few people putting their hands up and down, and
okay,
it's lovely hearing your story as well. But
Thanks, Razia.
I think yeah. Arnie's got his hand up. Thanks, Razia. Thanks.
Thanks, Darren.
Arnie's got his hand up.
Okay, thanks, Razia.
Thank you.
Anna.
Unmute, yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I can hear you a lot better than I can hear myself.
I
think your microphone's a lot better than mine.
Okay, great,
yeah, very clear.
Hi. Yeah, nice to see you.
And you?
Yeah, I get this, I don't know, I get this feeling of, I don't know, I like the atmosphere in these meetings. It's like something there that really, it's good. I have a hard time crying, but this morning I cried. This morning, Sinead O'Connor died.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't cry easily, but that really touched me.
Yeah, me too. If it's for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I was a fan.
Yeah, and she was so brave. I don't know, she had a hard time, and
so yeah, I mean, yeah, so much pain.
Yeah, I listened to her biography as an audiobook, and she read it herself, so it was spoken in her own voice.
Yeah,
and it's really, I can really recommend it. It's sometimes she just bursts out laughing, and oh, she's sweet. Yeah. Anyway, what I want to ask is, there is no me. There's no me. I heard that 1,000 times, and I found out today actually that I cannot control my thoughts, and that like most of the thoughts I thought they were real. I don't know. It's just stuff passing on in my head. I cannot do anything about it.
No.
But realizing that there still is a very real feeling of, well, but there's me. I'm reflecting on this. There is a me.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like, well, in this brain, it's different thoughts than in that brain or in that brain.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I don't get that there is no me.
No, you
There
won't.
is no.
No.
Uh-huh.
Well, there is. The trouble with the whole no me thing is, it sounds like I'll know when there's no me.
Yeah.
Well, that's the bummer right there. I mean, who would know the absence of the one who would know? Mm.
Well, but I guess in that brain, that Tim brain over there in England somewhere.
Well, I tell you what, your guess of what's in here is as good as mine. I tell you that.
Okay.
The whole illusion is that you
Is it what?
know. So you know what. So, I mean, the whole idea that, I mean, you talked about thoughts. The illusion is that we know what thoughts are. I mean, there's no greater illusion than that. And that then we can reflect on thoughts, which is thinking about thoughts.
Yeah, but I can remember what like my thought 1 second ago was. And that
Well, no,
brain probably can't. No, I can't.
Well, no, that you can tell a story that you remember. So the thought tells a story that it remembers the thought from a moment ago, and can.
Oh, that's a thought too. Okay.
And of course, that thought is what's appearing. That thought about the other thought, but it's always absolutely.
Okay.
It's all absolutely just newly appearing. Totally new.
Okay.
Everything.
So the feeling of it's me reflecting is a thought too.
Well, no, because me doesn't have that. I mean, there isn't a me. So the whole illusion that I am doing that's the illusion. There is the seeming doing that with or without me, but because there isn't a me in the first place, there is no without me. Now, this is the tricky bit. It gets leveled at me. It's all right for me because I don't have a me. Well, there's nothing funnier than that, is there? I mean, if you don't find that funny, I do. So everything will be okay without me because I'm the problem. Well, there isn't a me in the first place. So there will be no recognition. There is no recognition here of no me.
I don't understand.
No, there is nothing to be, right, there's nothing to be understood in that.
Yeah.
All I mean is, when I was on the other side, when I was in your seat, Anna, I looked at the speaker and just imagined what it would be like without myself, like she is, like he is. So he doesn't have a self. I want to be in that place.
Yeah, of course, I want to get rid of that.
Don't you? Don't you? How
Such
badly?
Yeah.
Well, Anna, how badly do you want to get rid of it?
Well, of the
Sorry,
not so nice part.
I'm
of me.
teasing because you can go to speakers who'll say, if you want it bad enough, then it will happen.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean,
but
all the
still,
bad.
we have these meetings and people.
There's
I don't
nothing.
know.
Right. I mean, the one that Anna, there is nothing going to happen.
So we could talk about Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, of course. Beautiful Sinead.
Yeah.
If you want to be moved to tears, it's a personal thing. But she sang a song. She did her last album, her last commercial album, when she was still trying to be before she converted to Islam. She converted to Islam. Yeah. She did this song, "Take Me to Church," not Hosey, "Take Me to Church," the famous one. But she sings this, "Take Me to Church." If you can listen to that without a tear, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. It's that album where she's on with the black guitar on the cover.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm not bossy, I'm the boss. Yeah.
I'm not bossy, I'm the boss. That's the one. Yeah.
I love her.
And it's her at our most awesome, really.
Yeah.
That's totally awesome. There you go. That's mine.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Nice to see you.
Yeah. Well, one more question. There's no meeting in London, huh?
meeting in London is 2 weeks tomorrow. So it's on
Okay.
the 12th of August in London.
Okay. Good.
All the details are on my website.
Yeah. But not this
It's in Hampstead, North London. Thanks, Aaron.
Michael has his hand up.
Michael.
I was going back to this is it. This is it idea. Here, this is it is seen as a stopover, a way station, a shady motel in the desert, a place to rest, the comfort that we know something about.
Yeah, I get this. Yeah, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. I mean, because it sounds like somewhere I can be,
Mm.
and something I can know. And I did love your, I mean, it just made me laugh that you posted. Michael posted, and I thought it was aimed at me, you know, because I'm touchy like that. He posted on Facebook this week, very provocatively, I have to say. This isn't it. Which was it was provocative, but what it provoked from me was laughter. Because of course this isn't it. Of
No.
course not. No.
It is a moving target.
It was it did make me laugh. But I do get what you mean. I mean, but there's nothing wrong with that, Michael. You know, people might need a halfway house when they're on their very long journey.
Truly.
There you go. So in that sense, you know, a seedy motel in the desert is quite, you're fucking pleased to have a rest there.
That just came up a little bit harsh, I think, but
No, but I think it's good.
if we don't ask for a yearly rate, it's a resting place.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is a moving target. Everything is flowing into everything, and we can't get a good beat on it. There's no it. It is an objectification of what we think might be beyond objectification, and for us, there's nothing beyond objectification.
No.
My infinity stops at about 2,500 miles. I can't think any.
Well, I mean, there aren't many of us who can't remember looking into space and then just momentarily getting a sense of infinity, that space doesn't end. And, you know, and we soon want to cling to the earth. You know, I don't know if you did that. I remember it, that infinity just momentarily, and it was like, and it's like Vertigo, like dreadful terror of falling into infinity.
Oh my God. Well, Einstein helped me with that. He said space is curved, so that
Oh, you get back to the beginning. Yeah, there's some reassurance there. Like Einstein knew.
Oh my God.
Yeah, space is curved.
Yeah. So it's not infinite.
You don't, I mean, imagine emptiness having a shape of any description.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I'm just opening the curtain because it's so dark.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's better. You can see me now.
Yeah.
It's either too bright or too dark.
No, it's perfect.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, I did really enjoy your This Isn't It. And I went, cheeky bastard.
Cheeky bastard. Thanks, Jerome.
Thanks. But of course, this isn't it. This is it. This isn't it. You take your pick. I tell you what, this wouldn't give a shit what you, isn't like it cares. If you get a taste of whatever, however you've objectified the absolute, because as Michael suggested, there is no way around that. There isn't a way around it. Language is all we have to think as well as speak. I mean, if you think you can think without objectification, think again.
There's no, oh God, I'm really up here. There's no it without an it to it.
Well, are you hitting it or itting it?
Hitting it. There's no it without an it to it.
To it. Yeah. Are you saying you're it then? Aaron? Is that what you're saying? Are you the it? Are you doing it? Are you doing the it? Are you doing the it that's doing the itting? Is that what you're saying? That is what you're saying, isn't it?
It's a lot of its, isn't it?
Is that it?
Well, there's no it without
There's
an
no
it.
it without an it to
you
it.
only need an it to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Thanks for that, Darren.
That's all right. You're welcome, Tim. Yeah. I was
really,
just seeing how many its I could get in a sentence.
I mean, talk about smooth the way.
Bertrand's got his hand up.
Bertrand.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
I'm on the bus, so you might hear some background noise, but I don't know really what I wanted to ask. I just want to share something and see what you have to say about it.
Okay.
I just realized most of the time is spent, most of at least my time has been spent in a lot of fear, shame. You know, maybe some people experience it, but
yeah,
you know, upon interacting with people, it gets more obvious. Like, oh, I feel this. I'm afraid because so and so. But upon one day, I sat down in the park, and I just sat there. I was just like, I really don't know why this keeps happening. And then it suddenly popped up. It was like, I'm so afraid through all the self-image and trying to act a certain way was because I didn't know who I really was somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere I had a feeling I didn't know what I really was, as in like whatever I could see or describe myself was not it, in some sense. And upon seeing that, it was actually it was really exciting, but really scary at the same time, because it's a little bit like how you guys described, like a glimpse of infinity. Like you begin to start falling.
Yeah.
And then it becomes scary, and then you try to cling on to everything you had.
Yeah.
Or, well, not really had, because it's not really there,
mm-hmm.
so to speak. And recently also, I've just been going back and forth between like, I don't know, it's this weird oscillation between like just being caught in the thoughts all the time, or like in fear or in that, and then maybe like once in a while there'll be like a split second of suddenly everything becomes really smooth, really efficient, but then it just comes back again, and then it's like all the pain, everything feels so stuck. The body feels really weird. I was wondering if you ever experienced this before.
Yeah, I would say there's no one here hasn't got memories of feeling like that.
Yeah, and it's just it's like there's no way out. It's not that I have nothing I can do, but it's it's so helpless that. Yeah, like. Yeah, I don't really have the words for it, but it just feels so helpless.
Yeah.
And it's not even if I'm like losing my sense of self, like even if the sense of self is there, it still feels so helpless, because I can't, nothing the sense of self does can seem to chase away any sort of,
No, this sense of self, I am the one who needs help.
Yeah.
And I know, and there might be the sense of there's those moments of ease and peace that you described momentarily, which might seem like escapism, but there is no escape. There is no escape for no one. There is nowhere to go. You said at the beginning, you said
sorry, I think you got cut off or something.
Yeah, we've lost you again, Tim.
by going.
You're
Oh,
back.
there, you're back.
Of course,
There we go.
sorry, Bertrand. No, that sense of you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ye-
And I know self gets very afraid of that, because the only thing that I am is the sense of I do know who I am. I know who I am. I know I'm me. I am the very sense of I know who I am. Without the sense of I know who I am, there is no me. There is no me without that, because there just is, you can say, there is just simply not knowing. And not knowing is a place of great peace and ease, because the whole sense is I must know. And I have to work really hard. You said about grasping and holding on. Self will do that energy of knowing, that sense of knowing, will do anything to hold on to. Is sense that you do know. Well, it's fine, Bertrand. There isn't anything to know, and there is nothing to hold on to. So it inevitably will feel like falling for the one who's still holding on. Grasping for a handhold, grasping for anyone who might tell me who and what I really am.
Yeah, also coming to this meeting is a little bit like somewhere I can feel that there's a hope of like, oh, maybe Tim can.
Well, I really
can say so, yeah, but
I hope I haven't given you any hope.
I mean, like, even if you didn't mean to, any hope would probably just be made by the sense of self.
Well,
anyway.
here you go. I'm going to give you a shred of hope here, Bertrand. This is just for you. It's a treat. I try not to give any hope away, but amazingly, the hope that I'm giving you is, without hope, self would say, I will be utterly hopeless, and hopeless feels like despair, devastation, the worst possibility. Well, the wonder is that without hope, there is no hopeless. So if hope dies, hopeless dies along with it. This is neither, because there is only, this isn't it, but there is only this. I'm now only going to say that for Michael's sake. Then there is no hope, but there is no hopelessness either. This doesn't feel hopeless.
Yeah.
At all.
So it's also a little bit like you were saying, you can only feel falling if there's someone still there to grasp.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I know. I mean, it's very familiar. In my story, I could tell that, I really felt the falling. And so you could say there is only falling. But of course, the falling is only dangerous if there's a landing place. And without a landing place, falling is not dangerous at all.
Yeah, and you wouldn't know you were falling either.
In fact, what would you call it if you don't land? You'd call it flying, wouldn't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Or not even falling.
No, you could say not falling. But if there is a sense of falling, but there is no possibility of landing, well, that's flying. There it is. And what did you dream of as a kid, like me?
Flying.
More than anything, flying.
Yeah, I remember dreams. I remember one of my earliest. Yeah.
Yeah, I was always flying.
Yeah, and I remember like if I woke up from it, I tried to go back and back to sleep
Oh,
to try to.
and,
Oh,
you got woken up and you tried to get back into the same
Yeah.
dream. Yeah.
yeah, it worked once, but never again.
No, you can't. And surprise, surprise, you can't do that. No, there's no going back, Bertrand, and there's no going forward.
Yeah, it like weirdly makes sense, but doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bertrand.
Thanks so much, Tim.
Nice to speak to you.
Thanks, you too.
How are you doing for time, Tim? We've got a few more questions.
Has anybody else got a question who hasn't said anything?
Arnie has his hand up.
Anyone?
I think.
Yeah, yeah. Arno, what?
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
no one else who hasn't had time. So okay, how did that happen to you? How did that start? That falling? What happened? I mean,
what happened? What happened? Did you ever
Yeah.
watch Deputy Dog as a kid? Did you have Deputy
No.
Dog?
no.
Deputy Dog's sidekick was Muskrat. Okay,
No, I don't-
Muskie. Okay, what's Muskie? What happened? What happened?
Okay, Muskie.
Okay, Muskrat. I'm sorry, it just reminded me. Well, the wonder is,
You look pretty cool. You have one. Your face is like one
Yeah,
side
right.
is lit, the other one's the dark side of Tim.
there you go. There they go. There's me,
Yeah.
the good and the
Yeah.
evil, right there.
Good,
That's
yes.
perfect. So,
Mm.
do you want the truth or do you want a story, Arno?
True story.
Truth? No, there's
No.
no such thing.
Truth. I want the truth.
Truth. Nothing happened.
Yes. No,
That's
I
truth.
knew it. Okay, then the story.
Story.
No.
Story.
Ah.
Oh, when did it happen? Now,
Now how? What?
I don't know if you've noticed, Arno, but memory is utterly unreliable. You asked me when it happened, and I'm going to make something up,
Okay.
and that's what you want to know.
Are there witnesses?
As though that would be helpful. Yeah, and then you're going to ask other people, and they're going to make up a new memory.
Okay.
There isn't an actual memory. They're going to conjure.
Yeah.
As a magician,
Okay.
you know, we're magicians.
I give up.
We conjure up the past all the time, and the witnesses are either going to corroborate, agree with my story or not. And then other human beings are going to listen to those stories and decide which one's true. And do you know which ones are true? None of them. None of them at all. Isn't that wonderful? No one is telling the truth.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? I mean, I can tell you a story seemingly of when do you want to know when the falling started? Did you say?
Yeah. Or how?
Well, I've already told you, you know, about, I mean, I had lots of falling dreams as a kid. Didn't you have endless falling dreams as a kid as well?
I have a horrible falling dream.
Yeah.
Coming back. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I know it's gonna hurt. I know I'm gonna hit the ground and it's gonna hurt. And for some reason it is uncomfortable, but I don't get injured. Like it's
Don't you wake
it's not.
What, you don't wake up when you hit the ground?
No, yeah. Then I wake up and realize, wow, that wasn't comfortable, but it's okay. I live. Yeah, I had that like 30 times that dream. I don't know.
Yeah. In being serious about my story, I mean, I can tell you my story, but I mean, it is all we have, really. But it's of no significance. So I'm always a bit loath to tell my story as though that is a way, that's how it happens. And of course, it really didn't happen.
Yeah, okay.
Really. I mean, the most incredible thing is that nothing ever happened. There is only what is happening. And even what is happening isn't really happening.
Okay,
Well,
but
it is-
still, wouldn't you
so
say
what's-
like?
So
there were-
what's really happening is that it is really happening, and equally, it's not really happening. You can't even land on, is it really happening or not? There is no landing place. Not even, this doesn't even allow for that. Doesn't allow you to land on, to know, is this really happening or not? Yes, it's all that's happening. So of course it's real. It's the only reality. There is no other reality than this.
So there's no thinking of the past.
No, there is. Oh no, there's thoughts of the past. Yeah, memories appear.
It's not no comparing like, wow.
No,
That was,
comparing. No, all of it. There isn't any exclusion. Nothing's excluded. No, of course. If the past appears, you really can't. The past only. If you're going to have a relevance of a memory, then it's only relevant to what seems to be happening now.
Yeah, but if you can remember, like, let's say 10 years ago,
Mhm.
could you say, well, I'm feeling better now, or I was feeling better then, or is there a difference?
No, of course you could say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah, this is totally ordinary. You know, you're not gaining or losing anything.
Mm-hmm.
The whole illusion is that you could gain or lose something.
Okay. One more question. You have kids, right? You have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you live in normal, like, I don't know if it's normal, but I have small kids and I live in constant fear something might happen. You still have that?
Constant fear for your kids.
Yeah.
Do I have that? No, I don't have that.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Never had.
Yeah, I would have had much more of that. Yeah. Maybe I always had less of that than some parents.
Okay.
But no, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But concern for them, yeah. But that feels like love, not fear. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Any
kids.
I mean, it's very obvious that anything could happen to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I equally am. It's really obvious that what can I do?
Yeah.
Really. I mean, the impotence of a human being is very profound. You know, the lack of power, and really self is always trying to be as powerful as it can possibly be, to control as much of life as it could control.
I was just thinking about what Arnie was saying
Thank
about.
you.
Thanks,
I was just thinking what Arnie was saying about fear. Maybe it's just concern, just love.
Yeah. But it doesn't have a sense of fear. I might have called it fear in the past, and now it doesn't feel like fear. It just feels like love.
But I'm wondering if Arnie is just mistaking the fear for concern and love.
I don't know. It's Sinead O'Connor again. She lost her son like a year ago.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that a lot. Like, no, that's not concern. This is like, I don't know. It's more than concern, I think. It's like physical. It's physical. So I would call it fear.
Oh, sometimes, often when I'm with my boys, I feel the love. I feel it will just tear my chest open. It just is so
hard.
But that's not. That's not fear though. There's no fear. There's no fear in it. It's really the love feels so intense, overwhelming. That
yeah, maybe that's just the
beautiful
part of love that can really hurt or ache. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that there's almost like an aching sadness in that love as well.
Oh no, there is a great melancholy because I know I can't. I mean, I could do everything. I could be worried, sick. I could be full of fear, I could have every concern and try and meet every concern, and I know it would be futile in keeping them safe. Well, if that doesn't bring you to tears, I don't know what will. But in a beautiful way. There is no safety. You know, this isn't a panacea at all. This isn't giving you a comfort blanket. This is incinerating whatever comfort blankets you were holding on to.
I know. Yeah. But this feels like a space I feel comfortable talking openly about stuff, and it feels
thanks, Anna.
It feels like, I don't know. I like friends. We don't know each other, but it's like
this
a
is
friendly place where you can share and this is lovely. Thank you.
Well, that's lovely to hear you say that, because I mean, if I was, I can't say I had a plan for how this would be, but if it feels like a group of friends who support each other, then yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Yeah,
Michael, thanks, Anna. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with that.
Just a short one, Tim. Something you said stimulated an idea that there are no separate events. There's an event stream, for lack of a better word. And memories and stories are about separate events.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are no separate events,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I kind of stopped with that, was it all dissolves. That
yeah. I mean, in a really very real way, we're making it all up. Yeah. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, we are wonderful creatures, us human beings, that we can make all this shit up.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it is the wonder of wonders, really. You know, nothing else is making anything up as far as we can tell. And then we're making up the most wonderful stories.
It's a wonderful meeting today, Tim. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Michael. Yeah, it's nice feeling. I love it when I do love it that Anna said it's like being with friends. That's how I'd like it to be. You know.
Nita has a hand up. We're running on, but it's quite nice if you got time.
Okay, yeah. Hi, Anita.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Anita.
I saw that documentary about Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
And in according to this message, then you would say nothing has happened, but sometimes it's not easy to say nothing has happened.
No. No, it's not. No, I mean, we have the stories, and the stories are beautiful. In fact, when I say nothing has happened, I only mean that in an absolute way.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing has happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we only have the relative. All of this, all of our talking with each other, all of our sharing is relative.
Mm-hmm.
There is no escape from that. The whole notion that some speakers are talking about the absolute is nonsense. You can say nothing of the absolute. Of course not. It's nothing and everything. So you would have to say everything and at the same time say fuck all. Well, you're some kind of genius if you can do that. You can say nothing and everything and describe the absolute. So it's all we have, Anita. Yeah, so I'm not, if it sounds like I'm, you know, belittling or disrespecting what seems to have happened. It's not like that at all.
No.
Because, and strangely, when everything is very obviously just relative, there's more love. It's more beautiful. It's And it's actually more real for not being absolutely real. It's because it's all we have. There isn't anything else. All we have is this relative sharing,
Yeah.
of relative knowledge. There isn't anything else. I know you might still want there to be speakers who are really actually talking. The words they use are absolute. They're not. Of course not. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
So and then it, yeah, and then it feels more like love.
Yeah, then it softens. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Anita.
Yeah, I'm going to chat you. I think so. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, thanks. What's time? Oh yeah, 24 past. Thanks everyone for coming. So you're all welcome to join, because I won't have normal Zoom meetings when I'm in America those 2 weeks. So you're very welcome to get the Zoom link from me. I'm gonna make a charge of a nominal charge for what you attend to help me pay for my flight. But it's just, I just thought, if I'm not doing this, I'd invite you. I'm only doing it because Trey said he would do all the technical stuff. So because I wouldn't want to do that, but he's going to set all that up for me. And I should also say, Tej has invited me back to California. So I'm going the last weekend in October in California. And the details are on my website now. And Tej, I have booked my flights.
That's great.
So that'll be, yeah, I'm excited. Because of course I got to see a tiny bit of California and then I just spent the rest of the time in bed. So I've got to go back.
That's right. Unfinished business.
Unfinished business, like you said, yeah. And so we're doing a rerun, aren't we? Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Darren.
Thanks, Tim.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Great meeting.
Thanks, Tim, and all the friends.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, everyone.
Lovely to be with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.